Hi, this is Foster. Welcome to Fridays with Foster. Today, we have got something prepared by Parker at the Logic Moose Cafe. So, this is called a Mielo, which is a latte with honey and cinnamon and 2 shots. So, we're going to see how this is. I mean, it can't be bad. Just listen to the sound. That is very good. In fact, I might even put another shot into that because that's how I roll. So today we are going to talk about trust. Trust, it takes years to build, it takes seconds to destroy, and it takes forever to repair. As I've said on here before, I was raised in a family business started by my grandfather in 1946. There are a lot of things that my grandfather stood for that really meant a lot and taught me a lot about trust, but most importantly, how easy it is to destroy. So what I want to talk about, there's a couple books. First, talk about The Speed of Trust by Stephen Covey. And he talks about the organizational success formula. The formula itself is S times E equals R, which means strategy times execution equals results, which is, makes perfect sense, right? But what he actually then does is puts trust into the equation. So S times E, parenthesis, times T equals R. So strategy times execution times trust equals results. And when you look in his book, you get to see how he breaks down the percentage of trust and what the percentage actually means. When we don't trust one another, our communication slows to a crawl, because in order for me to communicate with you, I have to first guess what it is you want. And if I can trust what you just said, or if I can trust how you're going to receive this information, then what I will do is I will construct what I have to say to fit that, which really, really slows down the speed of trust. You can imagine. The other book that is a great book is by Patrick Lencioni. This is called The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. If you have not read it or have not got it for your team, I highly recommend that you do. I won't go through all 5 right now. I think I've done that and did that in another video, but the first of the dysfunctions is the most important, the base dysfunction, which is a lack of trust. And the question is, what exactly is trust? Well, there's 3 different types of trust that I want to talk about real quick. The first is called deterrent-based trust. And that's kind of cash register honesty. That's, when there are laws and that there are specific deterrents to your behavior, and you can trust that somebody is or is not going to do something most of the time. Now, there are obviously sociopaths out there and people that are not ethical, and they will steal and they will cheat and they will lie and they will do what they have to do. But in general, the deterrent-based trust is what a lot of our society is based off of. Then we have what we call predictive trust. And this is where we look at past behavior and habits affecting what our future belief is for somebody's actions. So I can predict that Bob is going to respond in this way because he always has, and I can say this in a certain way and predict his behavior. Somewhat like driving, for the most part, the predictive trust is that people are not going to drive over the double yellow lines. Unfortunately, it's getting worse and worse because people are staring at their phones instead of driving. But for the most part, we can understand that people in the U.S. are going to drive on the right side of the road, etc. That's predictive trust. Those aren't really as important. What's really important is vulnerable trust. Vulnerable trust is what we have in our work environment when people care about the company, care about each other, and share a common goal. How do you know if you've got vulnerable trust? You need to listen. You need to listen to the words you use, and you need to listen to the words your team uses. What we need to understand is that people that have vulnerable trust with one another are not going to be as defensive. They are going to be supportive. What that means is you're going to hear phrases in a trust-based team like, I'm sorry. Imagine that. I don't know. Or I don't understand. That's another good one. Can you help me? These are all things that if we don't have trust with one another, we are not going to hear these types of phrases being spoken, because I am too afraid that you're going to judge me if I report to you, that you're going to think I don't know what I'm doing, and I have to protect myself from you, instead of thinking that, you know what, we are on the same team. I can trust you that you are going to give me the resources and support that I need in order to do whatever I have to do, whether or not I truly understand what's happening. If I don't have that trust, I don't really understand. I'm just going to make it up. If I do deliver something, it's probably not going to be what you expected because I never asked. So when you're going through your workday, listen to two different things. Listen to the way your team talks to each other. See if you hear that at all. And if you do, you know you've got a trustworthy team with each other. The other thing I think you need to do is you need to listen to yourself. You need to listen to the words that you have, the words that you use, how you talk to your team. We recently talked about humility and leadership. Well, it's not about being right all the time. It's about being authentic. So, hopefully you have a couple ideas on how to grow trust with your team. Check out those books I recommended. And remember, life is too short to not enjoy your coffee. Have a great day.